Welcome you all, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. This video is on course Water Supply Engineering 15CE32T for third semester of Civil Engineering program. In this session, viewers will come to know about topic population forecasting, which is a continuation of session 7 under unit 1 session 8. Course outcome for unit 1 is CO01, that is estimating water requirement for public water supply schemes. Table of content. Before going to the session, let us recap the previous session. In previous session, we learned about population forecasting, different types of population forecasting or different methods of population forecasting, factors affecting the estimation of population forecasting, arithmetical increase method, problems related to arithmetical increase method. In this session, we know about geometrical increase method, problems on geometrical increase method, incremental increase method, problems on incremental increase method, multiple choice questions. Geometrical increase method. In this method, it is assessed that the percentage increase in population from decade to decade is constant. So in previous session, we learnt about arithmetical increase method. So this is the second method of population forecasting, that is geometrical increase method. Here in geometrical increase method, the percentage increase in population from one decade to another decade is assumed constant. So to find out the future population, we must know the population details of previous decades. So from the population data of previous 3 or 4 decades, the percentage increase in population is found out. From that percentage increase in population, we need to find out the average percentage increase in population. So in this method, in geometrical increase method, the population forecasting is done on the basis of percentage increase per decade is assumed as same. So this method gives higher results since the present rate of growth or rate of increase in population never remains constant, but instead it may decrease when the growth of city reaches to saturation. So the population at the end of n decades is calculated by an expression or formula in this method, geometrical increase method, is Pn is equal to P into 1 plus R divided by 100. So where Pn is for what decade, where we have to find out the population. So where P is population at present, where R is the average percentage increase in population. The average percentage increase in population. Let us solve problems related to geometrical increase method. For comparison, we have taken same problem we are discussed in the earlier session while doing arithmetical increase method. The same problem we are going to solve in this method, in geometrical increase method. The first problem is the populations of decades from 1960 to 2000 are given below in the table. Find out the population after 1 and 2 decades beyond the last known decade by using geometrical increase method. Here the population from 1960 to 2000 are tabulated. So we need to find out the population for 2010 and 2020. The solution is the given data, whatever the data is given in the above table, we need to extend that table to calculate or to compute the increase in population for each decade. So decade means a period of 10 years. So we have drawn another table. So the given data all entered. So here 1960, 1970, 1980 and the population to respective years. The respective decades are entered here. So first in this method we need to find out the increase in population. The increase in population for the year 1960, if we have to calculate the increase in population for the year 1960, we need to know the population before one decade, which means 1950 population also we need to know. Here the data is not available, so the value becomes nil. The value becomes nil. Here in the second column, in the third column, second row, we need to find out increase in population. So for the decade 1970, so the increase in population for the year 1970 is the difference between the population of 1970 and 1960. Here the difference between the population of decade 1970 and population in 1960 gives the increase in population. It means 29,000 minus 22,500. 29,000 minus 22,500 is equal to 6,500. Similarly, we need to find out the increase in population for 1980. Here we need to find out the increase in population for the year 1980, that is equal to population in 1980 minus the population in 1970. Population in 1980 minus population in 1970, that is equal to 37,000 minus 29,000. 37,500 minus 29,000 is equal to 8,500. So similarly, we need to find out increase in population for the year 1990, that is equal to population of present minus population of previous decade, that is present decade is 1990, previous decade is 1980. So 47,000 minus 37,500 500 is equal to 9,500. The increase in population for the decade 2000 is 57,500 minus previous decade population, that is 47,500, that is equal to 10,500. So after finding the increase in population, we need to find out the percentage increase in population. We need to find out percentage increase in population. Here, the rate of change of population with respect to previous decade is considered as percentage increase in population. So, increase in population for the decade 1960 is not available here. So, here also in percentage increase in population, the value becomes nil. So, we need to find out percentage increase in population for the year 1970. So, here the increase in population is 6,500 with respect to 22,500. So, the percentage increase in population is 6,500 divided by 22,500. 6,500 divided by 22,500 into 100 is equal to 28.89%. Here, percentage increase in population for the decade 1980 is 8,500, which is the increase in population with respect to population of 1970 is 29,000. So percentage increase in population is equal to 8,500 divided by 29,000 into 100. So 8,500 divided by 29,000 into 100 is equal to 29.31%. Similarly, we need to find out the percentage increase in population for the year for the decade 1990 is equal to 9,500 is the increase in population divided by, so with respect to the population in 1980, it is 37,500 is equal to 25.33. The percentage increase in population for the decade 2000 is the increase in population in 2000 divided by with the population of 1990, that is equal to 10,500 divided by 47,000, which works out to be 22.34%. So after calculating percentage increase in population per decade, we need to calculate the average increase in population, the average percentage increase in population. So to calculate that, we first add up all these percentage increase in population, that is 28.89 plus 29.31 plus 25.33 plus 22.34%. So the total percentage increase in population is 105.87 for all the decades. So we need to find out percentage increase in population per decade. So here decade means the difference between 1970 minus 1960 is first decade, 1980 minus 1970 is second decade, 1990 minus 1990 is third decade, 2000 minus 1990 is fourth decade. So average percentage increase in population per decade we have taken as R, that is equal to 105.87 divided by 4. 4 here is 1, 2, 3, 4 per decade. Or 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 26.47 is the average percentage increase in population. So after finding out the average percentage increase in population per decade, so we need to find out the population after one decade beyond 2000, which means we need to calculate or we need to find out the population for the year 2010. Here we need to find out the population for the year 2010. So the expression for geometrical increase method is Pn is equal to P into 1 plus R divided by 100. Here P is population of known decade, R is percentage increase in population per decade. So population for the year 2010 is the population for the year 2000 is already given in the problem. It is 57,500. 1 plus R is the percentage increase in population per decade. We have already calculated in the last slide, is 26.47. So after substituting this value, we will get answer for the population of the for a year 2010 is 72,721. So here in the last session we have discussed about arithmetical increase method, where the population for the year 2010 is 66,250. So here compared to arithmetical increase method, geometrical increase method gives comparatively higher values. Population after 2 decades beyond 2000 we need to find out, which means the population for the year 2020 we need to calculate. Here population for the year 2020 is equal to population for the year 2010 into 1 plus r divided by 100. So population for the year 2010 we have calculated here 72,721 plus R we have already find out in the last slide 26.47, which is the average increase in population per decade. After substituting the value in the expression, we will get a value. Population for the year 2020 is 91,971. The final outcome of the problem is tabulated here. Whatever the problem we have solved in the last 2 slides is concluded here. Here the increase in population, percentage increase in population, total increase in population, average percentage of increase in population per decade, the required population in year 2010 and required population in the year 2020. For better understanding, let us solve another problem on geometrical increase method. The populations of decade from 1970 to 2010 are given below in the table. Find out the population after 1 and 2 decades beyond the last known decade by using geometrical increase method. Here the population for 1972, the population for 2010 are given. We need to find out the population for 2020 and population of the year 2030. The solution is the given table is extended to calculate the increase in population for each decade. Here the table has been extended. The given data are tabulated here. The year and population are listed here. So first we need to know the increase in population with respect to decade. Here increase in population for the year 1970 is nil because we don't know the value of previous data, so we cannot calculate the value. The increase in population for the year 19 the increase in population for the year 1980 is the increase in population of 1980 with respect to previous decade, that is 28,000 minus 25,000. Here 28,000 minus 25,000 is equal to 3,000. So similarly we need to calculate the increase in population for the decade 1990 is the population in 1990 minus the population in 1980. 80, that is 34,000 minus 28,000. So 34,000 minus 28,000 is equal to 6,000. The increase in population for the decade 2000, for the year 2000 is 42,000 minus the population of previous decade is population of 1990 is 34,000. So 42,000 minus 34,000 is equal to 8,000. The increase in population for 2010 is the population of 2010 minus population of previous decade is population of 2000, that is 42,000. So 47,000 minus 42,000 is 5,000. So after finding out the increase in population, we need to find out the percentage increase in population. So the percentage increase in population we need to find out for the year 1970. Here there is no increase in population. So here also remains same, it is nil. Here we need to find out percentage increase in population for the year 1980 is equal to increase in population for the year 1980 divided by with respect to what value the 3000 is increased, that means with respect to 1970. So the percentage increase in population is 3000 minus divided by 25,000 into 100 is equal to 12%. Similarly, we need to calculate percentage increase in population for next successive years. So here for 1990 is equal to the increase in population with respect to the population of 1980. It is 6,000 divided by 28,000 into 100. That is equal to 6,000 divided by 28,000 is 21.43%. Similarly, percentage increase in population for 2000 is equal to 8,000 divided by 34,000 is 23.53%. So here percentage increase in population for 2010 is the increase in population for the year 2010 is 5,000 with respect to 42,000. So 5,000 divided by 42,000 is percentage increase for the year 2010, which works out to be 11.9%. So after finding out percentage increase in population for each year, so we need to find out average increase in population per decade. So we need to add up all these value. So the total percentage increase in population is 12 plus 21.43 plus 23.53 plus 11.9 is equal to 68.86%. So the average increase in population per decade is 68.86 divided by number of decades. Here number of decades are 1980 minus 1970 is the first decade. Here is the second decade. This is the third decade and fourth decade. So the average percentage increase in population per decade is R, that is equal to 68.86 is the total increase in population divided by number of decades, that is 4 decades, works out to be 17.22%. We need to find out population after one decade beyond 2010, that is the population for the year 2020. So here is the expression for geometrical increase method. So where R is percentage, average percentage increase in population. So we know the population for the year 2010, that is 47,000. The R value we have find out in the previous slide is 17.22%. After substituting the value here is 55,094. In the same way, we need to find out population after 2 decades beyond 2010, that is the population for the year 2030. We need to find out. Here we will substitute the values for the expression. Here, the population for the year 2020, we have calculated here, that is 55,094. We have substituted here. The R value we have find it out, that is 17.22. After substituting all the values, the population for the year 2030 is 64,582. So here is the final outcome of the given problem is tabulated here. The increase in population, percentage increase in population, total percentage increase in population, and the required values for the population of the year 2020 and 2030. Let us move on to next method of population forecasting. The third method is incremental increase method. So this is the improved version of already discussed methods, that is arithmetical increase method and geometrical increase method. Here the average increase in population is determined by arithmetical method, and to this we need to add the incremental increase for each decade. The incremental increase for each decade. So this method is a combination of geometrical as well as arithmetical increase method. The incremental increase method is suitable for an average town under normal condition where the rate of growth is found to be in increasing order or in rising order. Here, the population for the future decades is determined by and using expression or formula is Pn is equal to P plus Nx plus N into N plus 1 whole thing divided by 2 into Y, where Pn is the population after nth decade, where P is the population, known population, where N is number of decades, X is sum of average of arithmetic increase in population, where Y is the average of incremental increase in population. Let us solve a problem on incremental increase method. So for comparison, we have taken the same problem which we are discussed already in geometrical increase and arithmetical increase method. The same problem is taken here for incremental increase method. The populations of decade from 1960 to 2000 are given below in the table. Find out the population after 1 and 2 decade beyond the last known decade by using incremental increase method. Here the population for the year 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990 and 2000 are given. We need to find out the population for the year 2010 and population for the year 2020. So we need to extend the table to calculate incremental increase. So here the given data is tabulated here. So first we need to find out increase in population. So here the increase in population for the year 1960 becomes nil because we don't know the population data of the previous decade. Hence the increase in population for the year 1960 becomes nil. So we need to find out the increase in population for the year 1970 with respect to year 1960. So increase in population for the year 1970 is the population of the year population in 1970 minus the population in 1960, which is equal to 29,000 minus 22,500. Here the value is 6,500. Similarly, we need to find out the increase in population for the year 1980, which is equal to the population in the year, in the present year minus previous year. It is 37,500 minus 29,000 is equal to 8,500. The increase in population for the year 1990 is 47,000 minus 37,500 is 9,500. Similarly, The increase in population for the year 2000 is the population in 2000 minus the population in 1990. The difference between population in 2000 and 1990 gives the increase in population for the year 2000, that is 10,500. So after finding increase in population, the next step is to find out the incremental increase in population. The incremental increase in population. Here the increase in population is nil, so here also the increase in population becomes nil. So we need to find out the incremental increase in population for 1970. So here we have increase in population for the year 1970 and we don't have the increase in population for the year 1960, so that we cannot find out the incremental increase in population for this decade, that is 1970. This also becomes nil here. The incremental increase in population for 1980 is the increase in population of 1980 minus the increase in population 1970. So with respect to 1970, the increase in population is 8,500 minus 2,500, that is equal to 2,000. In the similar way, we need to find out incremental increase in population for 1990, it is equal to the increase in population in the year 1990 minus the increase in population in the year 1980, that is equal to 9,500 minus 8,500, that is equal to 1,500. The increase in population for the year 2000 is equal to the increase in population 2000 minus the increase in population of 1990, that is equal to 1000. It is equal to 1000. After finding out increase in population and incremental increase in population, we need to find out average increase in population and average incremental increase in population. So before doing that, I will add up all the values so that the total increase in population here is 6,500 plus 8,500 plus 9,500 plus 10,500 is equal to 35,000, is equal to 35,000. So the total incremental increase in population is 2000 plus 1500 plus 1000, which is equal to 4500. After finding out total, we need to find out the average. So here the average increase in population is 35,000 divided by number of decades, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 decades. Here the average increase in population is 35,000 divided by 4, that is equal to 8,500. Here we need to find out average incremental increase in population, that is equal to the total incremental increase in population divided by number of decades. The number of decades are 1, 2, 3 here. So the value is 1500. So after finding out the average values, we need to find out the population for the required year. Here, population after one decade beyond 2000, we need to find out. Means the population for the year 2010, we need to calculate. Here an expression for incremental increase method. Pn is equal to p plus nx plus n into n plus 1 divided by 2 into y, where p is the population of the known decade, where x is average increase in population, where y is average incremental increase in population, and n is decades. So we need to substitute the values here. We need to find out the population for the year 2010. We know the population for the year 2000, that is 57,500. We are finding out the population after the known decade, that means 2010 minus 2000, which means one decade. It is the period of 10 years. So n value becomes 1. The x is the average increase in population, it is 8,750. Y is the average increase, incremental increase, is equal to 1,500. So after substituting the values, The population for the year is 2010 is 67,750. In the in geometrical increase method, the population for the year 2010 for the same problem is 72,721. So compared to all methods, the geometrical increase method gives a increased value. It means higher values. So after finding out the population for the year 2010, we need to find out the population for the year 2020. After 2 decades beyond 2000 means 2020. So here we need to find out the population for the year 2020. We know the population for the year 2000, that is 57,000, plus the number of decades here is 2. So the value of n is equal to 2. The x value is already found out, 8,750. The y value is average increase in population, incremental increase in population is 1,500. After solving this, the population for the year 2020 is 79,500. Here, the final outcome of the above solved problem. Here, the increase in population, incremental increase in population. So, the total values, the average value of increase in population, average value of incremental increase in population. So, the required value for the of the year 2010 and here is 2020. There is a typo error. For better understanding, let us solve one more problem on incremental increase method. The population of decades from 1970 to 2010 are given below in the table. Find out the population after 1 and 2 decades beyond the last known decade by using incremental increase method. Here the population for the year 1972, population for the year 2010 is given. We need to find out the population for the year 2020 and population for the year 2030. So we need for this problem we need to extend the table here. So we need to calculate increase in population. Here we need to find out the the increase in population for the year 1970 becomes nil because we don't know the population of the previous year. With respect to previous years, we need to find out the increase in population. Increase in population for the year 1990 is the population in 1980 minus population in 1970. The difference between population in 1980 and 1970 is the increase in population. Here 28,000 minus 25,000 is equal to 3,000. Similarly, increase in population for the year 1990 is population in 1990 minus population in 1980. So with respect to previous decade, we need to find out the increase in population. Here the present decade is 1990, the previous decade is 1980. So 34,000 minus 28,000 is equal to 6,000. Increase in population for the year 2000 is population in 2000 minus population in 1990, that is 42,000 minus 34,000 is equal to 8,000. Increase in population for the year 2010 is the difference between population of 2010 and population of 2000. Here 47,000 minus 42,000 is equal to 5,000. After finding out increase in population, we need to find out incremental increase in population. So we need to find out the incremental increase in population with respect to previous decades. Here the increase in population is not available, so here also the value becomes nil. We need to find out incremental increase in population for the year 1980. So we have only one data, the increase in population for the year 1980. So we don't have the data of increase in population for the year 1970. So here also the incremental increase becomes nil. So here we need to find out the incremental increase in population for 1990 is with respect to 1980. So that the value, how much value is increased, how much percent, increase in population occurred between 1980 and 1990 is calculated. So 6000 minus 3000, here 6000 minus 3000, 6000 minus 3000 is equal to 3000. Similarly, incremental increase in population for the year 2000 is equal to the increase in population of 2000 minus increase in population of 1990. So 8000 minus 6000 is equal to 2000. Here the values are in increasing order, here the values in decreasing order. So the incremental increase in population for 2010 is the increase in population of 2010 minus the increase in population of 2000, which means 5000 minus 8000. 5000 minus 8000, which becomes which gives a negative value, that is minus 3000. Here the population increase in population is decreased, so here the incremental increase in population is negative. So after finding out increase in population and incremental increase in population, we need to find out average increase in population, average incremental increase in population here. So I am adding up all these values. So here increase in population total is equal to the 3000 plus 6000 plus 8000 plus 5000 is equal to 22000. Here total value of incremental increase in population is equal to 3000 plus 2000 plus 3000. Here value is negative, so 3000 plus 2000 minus 3000, which works out to be 2000. After finding out total, you need to find out average. So here the average of increase in population is equal to total increase in population divided by decade. Here first decade, second decade, third decade and fourth decade. So the average is 22,000 divided by 4, that is equal to 5,500. In the same way, we need to find out the average incremental increase in population. So here the total increase in population divided by number of decades. Here the decades are 1, 2, 3. So 2000 divided by 3 is equal to 666.67. We have rounded up to value 667. So here we need to find out population after one decade beyond 2010, which means we need to find out population for the year 2020, that is equal to expression for incremental increase method. So population for the year 2020 is equal to, we have substituted the value, the answer is 53,167. So in the same way, we need to find out population after 2 decades beyond 2010 is equal to, we need to find out the population for the year 2030. Population for the year 2030. After substituting all the values in the expression, we will get a value of population for the year 2030 is 60,001. So here the final outcome of the problem. Next, multiple choice question. First question is, in which method of population forecast percentage increase in population from decade to decade is assumed constant? The percentage increase in population from decade to decade is assumed constant. Here in the answer is B. The percentage increase in population from decade to decade is assumed constant in geometrical increase method. The increase in population from decade to decade is assumed in arithmetical increase method. So the correct answer is B, geometrical increase method. In which method of population forecast combines both arithmetical increase and geometrical increase method? So the options are arithmetical increase method, geometrical increase method, incremental increase method, decrease rate of growth of method. So here the correct answer is C. In incremental increase method, arithmetical increase and geometrical increase methods are combined. Out of The given population forecast method, which method gives comparatively accurate results? A. Arithmetic increase method. B. Geometrical increase method. C. Incremental increase method. D. None of the above. Out of the given population forecast method, which method gives comparatively accurate results? Here, geometrical increase method gives fairly accurate results compared to any other method. What is the expression used for population forecasting by the geometrical increase method? Option A, option B, option C and option D. So the answer is B. The expression or formula used for population forecasting by geometrical increase method is Pn is equal to P into 1 plus R divided by 100. What is the expression used for population forecasting by the incremental increase method? Option A, option B, option C and option D. The correct answer is option D. Pn is equal to P plus Nx plus N into N plus 1 divided by 2 into Y. The option A is used for arithmetic increase method. Option B is used for geometric increase method. So answer option D is the right answer. So consider the following statements. First one, the arithmetical increase method is suitable for new cities. Second option, the arithmetical increase method is suitable for older cities. Third one, the geometrical increase method is used for older cities. Which of the following above statements are correct? Option A, 1, 2, 3. Option B, 1 and 3. Option C, only 2. Option D, 2 and 3. Here, option C is the correct answer. The arithmetical increase method is suitable for older cities and geometrical increase method is suitable for new cities. As compared to geometrical increase method of population forecasting, the arithmetical increase method gives A. Lesser value, B. Higher value, C. Equal values, D. May vary depend on population. As compared to geometrical increase method of population forecasting, arithmetical increase method gives a lesser value. Out of the given population forecast method, which method is suitable for an average town under normal condition where growth of rate is found to be in increasing order? Option A, arithmetical increase method. Option B, geometrical increase method. Option C, incremental increase method. Option D, none of the above. Answer is incremental increase method. We have come to an end of the session. I would like to acknowledge all my team members for the contribution for this particular session. Thank you.